What is good, it's your boy Cena Gustapa here, aka Leroy Jenkins. I'm going to be quickly going over the AN-94 assault rifle. Let's get into it. First off, we have the muzzles. First for the muzzles, the AN-94 Sonic Brake. Pros: recoil stabilization, cons: aim down sight speed and aiming stability. Cutting edge muzzle brake mitigates hyperburst recoil without increasing the weapon's sound signature. Next is the flash guard. Pros: muzzle flash concealment, cons: bullet velocity. And we have the tactical suppressor. Pros: sound suppression, cons: aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. Next up is the lightweight suppressor. Pros: sound suppression, cons: damage range. Now we have the compensator. Pros: recoil control, cons: aim down sight speed and aiming stability. And it fights muzzle climb. Last for the muzzles, we have the monolithic suppressor. Pros: sound suppression and damage range, cons: aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. Now we're on to the barrels. First off, the AN-94 factory 330mm. Pros: aim down sight speed and movement speed, cons: bullet velocity and recoil control. It's designed for close quarter engagements. Has a higher tension spring to compensate for the recoil dampening system's reduced travel. Next up is the AN-94 Factory X 438mm. Pros: damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control, cons: aim down sight speed and movement speed. And last for the barrels is the VLK AN-94 Sila. Pros: damage range, bullet velocity, cons: aim down sight speed. Next are the lasers. First off, we have the 5mW laser. Pros: hipfire accuracy, sprint to fire speed, cons: laser visible to enemies. Exposes position when active only for the aggressive. Now we have the 1mW laser. Pros: hipfire accuracy, and there are no cons. Red laser improves hipfire accuracy while remaining undetected. Last for the lasers is the TAC laser. Improves accuracy while aiming down sights, exposes position when active. Pros: aim down sight speed, aiming stability, aim walking steadiness. Cons: laser visible to enemies. Now we have the optics. First optic, the GI Mini Reflex. Pros: precision sight picture, cons: aim down sight speed. Next up is the Corp Combat Hollow Sight. Pros: precision sight picture, cons: aim down sight speed. Now we have the Aim Op Reflex Sight. Pros: precision sight picture, cons: aim down sight speed. Next is the Scout Combat Optic. Precision optic with a 3.25 times magnification for long range targeting. Pros: zoomable, cons: aim down sight speed. After that, the APX5 Holographic Sight. Pros: precision sight picture, cons: aim down sight speed. Now we have the 4.0 times flip hybrid. 4.0 times optic manually flips to closer range holographic sight. Pros: hollow and scout toggle and zoom level, cons: aim down sight speed. Now we have the Solo Zero Optics Mini Reflex. Pros: precision sight picture, cons: aim down sight speed. Now we have the VLK 3.0 times optic. 3.0 times magnification provides reliable targeting. Pros: zoom level, cons: aim down sight speed. Next up is the Operator Reflex Sight. Pros: precision sight picture, cons: aim down sight speed. Now we have the Sniper Scope. 4.4 times scope for long range encounters. Optic glint visible to enemies. Pros: zoom level, cons: aim down sight speed. Now we have the Solo Zero NVG Enhanced 3.25 Gen 3 Night Vision with thermal overlay for enhanced situational awareness, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros: thermal target identification and zoom level. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Next up, the Integral Hybrid 3.25 times Scout with Integral Reflex Sight for quickly transitioning between sights. Pros: reflex and scout toggle and zoom level. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Now we have the Viper Reflex Sight. Pros: precision sight picture. Cons: aimed on sight speed. After that, the PBX Holo 7 Sight. Pros: precision sight picture. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Now we have the Merc Thermal Optic 3.25 times scope with thermal imaging, highlights targets, and provides visibility in all lighting conditions, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros: thermal target identification and zoom level. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Now we have the Monocle Reflex Sight low intrusion frame for improved target tracking. Pros: precision sight picture. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Next up is the Canted Hybrid 3.25 times Scout with a side mounting reflex sight, lets you change engagement distances with a flick of the wrist. Pros: reflex and scout toggle and zoom level. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Now we have the Variable Zoom Scope. Zooms between 3.0 times and 6.1 times for fighting at extended ranges, optic glint visible to enemies. Pros: zoom level, magnification toggle. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Now we have the Cronin C480 Pro Optic. 3.5 times magnification, provides excellent targeting. Pros: zoom level. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Now we have the Cronin LP945 Mini Reflex. Pros: precision sight picture. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Next up, the Thermal Hybrid 3.25 times thermal scope with a side mounting reflex sight, toggles thermal imaging with a flick of the wrist, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros: reflex and thermal toggle and zoom level. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Now we have the POS M3 Thermal Scope, advanced 3.25 Gen 3 night vision with thermal overlay for enhanced situational awareness, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros: thermal target identification and zoom level. Cons: aimed on sight speed. Next up are the stocks. First off, the AN94 Factory Heavy. Pros: aiming stability. Cons: aim walking movement speed. Keeps your aim steady for precision shots. Now we have the Forge Tech Ultralight. Pros: aim walking movement speed. Cons: aiming stability. Now we have the Folded Stock. Pros: movement speed, aimed on sight speed. Cons: aiming stability and recoil control. Greatly increases movement. Next up, the FSS Close Quarters Stock. Pros: aimed on sight speed. Cons: aiming stability. Gets you on target faster. Now I have the VLK PX9 Peril. Pros: aim walking movement speed and aimed on sight speed. Cons: aiming stability. Ultralight stock speeds up weapon handling and movement at the expense of aiming stability. Now we are on to the underbarrels. First off, the Commando foregrip. Pros: recoil stabilization and aiming stability. Cons: movement speed. Keeps weapon steady while aiming. Now we have the Merc foregrip. For fast-paced guerrilla tactics. Pros: recoil control and hipfire accuracy. Cons: aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. Now we have the 12 gauge Deputy. Pros: underbarrel shotgun. Cons: aim down sight speed. Next up is the Bipod. Pros: crouch/prone recoil control, and there are no cons. Now we have the M203 40mm Recon. Underbarrel grenade launcher that shoots snapshot rounds. Cons: aim down sight speed and movement speed. Now we have the M203 40mm concussive. Underbarrel grenade launcher that shoots concussive rounds. Cons: aim down sight speed and movement speed. Next up, the Ranger foregrip. Pros: recoil control, aiming stability. Cons: aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. Stabilizes weapon while aiming for improved long-range combat. Next is the M203 40mm flash. Pros, Underbarrel grenade launcher that shoots flash rounds. Cons, aimed on sight speed and movement speed. Now we have the M203 40mm smoke screen. Pros, Underbarrel grenade launcher that shoots smoke rounds. Cons, aimed on sight speed and movement speed. Next up, the tactical foregrip. Pros, aiming stability. Cons, movement speed. And provides superior control acquiring targets. Now we have the M203 40mm incendiary. Pros, Underbarrel grenade launcher that shoots incendiary rounds. Cons, aimed on sight speed and movement speed. Now we have the M203 40mm high explosive. Underbarrel grenade launcher that shoots explosive rounds. Cons, aimed on sight speed and movement speed. And last, for the underbarrels, we have the operator foregrip. Helps control vertical recoil for faster follow-up shots. Pros, recoil control. Cons, aimed on sight speed. We're on to the ammunitions. First off, the 45 round mag holds 45 rounds of 5.45 by 39mm ammunition with slight weight increase. Pros, magazine ammo capacity. Cons, aimed on sight speed and movement speed. Now we have the 60 round casket mags. Hold 60 rounds of 5.45 by 39mm ammunition with a moderate weight increase. Pros, magazine ammo capacity. Cons, aimed on sight speed and movement speed. Now we have the rear grips. First off, the granulated grip tape keeps you steady and on target. Pros, aiming stability, aim walking steadiness. Cons, aim walking movement speed. Now the stippled grip tape, less stable but very agile. Pros, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed. Cons, aiming stability. Now we have the rubberized grip tape. Less steady but helps control recoil. Pros, recoil control. Cons, aiming stability. Last but not least, we have the perks. First off is Heavy Hitter for melee stun power. Produces greater stun on targets. After that is Recon. See enemy nameplates at greater distances. Then we have Frangible Wounding. Bullets cause target healing to be briefly delayed. After that, Mo Money, earn additional XP for kills. Pros, Headshot XP. After that, FMJ. Increases bullet penetration and damage against equipment and kill streaks. Next is Sleight of Hand for reload quickness. After that, Melee for melee quickness, or Fast Melee for melee quickness. Now we have Frangible Disabling. Bullets slow enemy movement and briefly disable tactical sprint when shooting legs. Next up is Fully Loaded. Start with maximum reserve ammo. Last but not least, Presence of Mind. Extended hold breath. That is it for the AN-94 Assault Rifle. I will be posting videos later on about my favorite attachments to this gun. Until then, have a great day and peace.